West Ham United are in disarray as relegation beckons. Another defeat at home, another performance which warranted something, but we got nothing. And dismal display this afternoon with green shoots of spirit and hope shattered by a late goal, which felt inevitable in the end. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. Bit of a reaction and reflection on what we saw this afternoon in what feels like a defining moment in West Ham season. Larry is with me to try and make sense of it all and dissect it all. How are you, my friend?
Um, Not so good, Jake, but good to see you. So quite deflated from today because I thought it was a must win, and this is where I am getting nervous. I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, it's all beginning to become a little bit real. But wouldn't we all like the current landscape Larry has behind him? The sun just glistening through, blue skies. Isn't it joyous? But it's cold and wet here, and that's probably symbolic of how West Ham are feeling right now. Larry, just give us your overarching thoughts on what you saw this afternoon, first of all.
Such a frustrating performance, and a lot of people gave me static the last couple weeks because I think a lot of times West Ham's in a match. Today we were in the match. Fulham was not better than us, in my opinion. I thought we were playing head to head with them very well. They were a very similar team to us. But the problem with us is that when you play a game, and I said in my reaction, is that you play a game like that, you can't make mistakes. We can't finish, and the mistake that we made cost a goal, and we can't score enough. And it's a very frustrating thing. When we have it, we can go down there and we can press and we have the opportunities. And we're not clinical enough. And I've said that for years. And we all talk about because we had this striker. We're not clinical enough around the box to finish it off. If you watch that Villa game and you saw how Watkins came in, that's a clinical striker that can come in and make a difference. Not saying that we could get to that caliber of a player there, but that's what you're looking for. Someone that can create it. Once you're around the box, some player, and we don't have that. So it's just it's frustrating to watch.
It is, and it's felt like the massive concern has been in the last few gameplay. We haven't actually been that bad. I mean, we haven't been great. I'm not going to come in here and say we've been ripping up trees because we haven't, but we've been a little bit better. The results probably suggest we've had a little bit of spirit and a little bit of hope, all of which was just tragically absent in the games against Brentford and Leeds in sort of October time in a real dark period. We seem to have turned a slight corner from there because things are a little bit better. It's a little bit more spirited in what we are performing with, but we're not getting over the line. Again, today, I said with 65, 70 minutes gone, the game was there for the taking. How many times in the
100%.
last few weeks have we sat here and went mid game, the game is there for the taking? The Bournemouth game, the Man
Hmm.
United game, the Brighton game today, the
Spot
Villa
on, Jake.
game.
Spot
You
on.
can just you can just list them all off. We need points. We need to convert these performances into points because we are slipping quite drastically.
Jake, you were spot on right there, 100%. We played well in those games, and I heard some people say, "Oh, you say that all the time. They were there for the taking." Well, maybe West Ham was there for the win, but our problem is we don't know how to win because we cannot finish the ball and we create them mistakes. How many times can we count this year that we had a big mistake defensively to give up a goal. And our problem is we don't score the goals. And as
Yeah.
we say, it sounds like it's repetitive, but it's the truth. And it's something like that. It's like the team doesn't even now the confidence is not there. Today I thought they played well. I really do. I mean, we had our opportunities. But when we have players like, the Debo, a center back, driving the ball more than our midfield or centers, it could be a little bit of a problem. I liked it, but do you want your center back to be the guy driving the ball up the pitch and being that aggressive? I don't know, but I'm with you. And the thing is, I'm just distraught by the point is that these are games that we needed. Today, even at the end, I did not want a point, but gosh darn, I'll take a point and nothing. You know what I mean? Now we have made nothing of their first loss, and then Leeds play tomorrow, and it's just like it's just the same song and dance. What was it? 2 wins in 18 matches? Is that what we have?
Something like
You
that. Yeah.
that tells you the story right there. So I'm not giving up on them though. I am not giving up because we still have Brighton. Then we still have Wolves. and then we still have Forest. So we still have the opportunity. I know it sounds like a broken record, but we still have that in front of us where, if we can nick maybe, 7 points out of there, and I'm going to say that 7 points in those three, then we could do it. But it's an uphill battle. Today we needed something. We didn't get it.
Absolutely, for sure. It felt like today had to be the shift. Today we had to change the record and move on in these four upcoming games, now three upcoming games. And people were saying, we
100%.
need to get nine or 12
Yeah.
points from them. And well, I mean, the minimum, the maximum we can now get is 9. And I don't,
Yeah.
I don't think you'll find many West Ham fans who are confident about us winning 3 out of the next 3. I mean, when was the last time we won 3 out of 3? I can't even remember.
The
So
thing is,
that,
we're so darn close at the end to finishing off, and I'm sorry for the people can say this, but I'm done with Paqueta. I'm done with him. I really am. He had a little quick move. Fernandez has it, and he's more of that midfielder. Fernandez, he ran out of gas at the end, but hit that how he can control that midfield like that. I am done with Paqueta. People can say what they want, but the guy does some dancing. He does not perform for me. He can go off to wherever he wants. If we can get 50 million for him, I'll be a happy guy. But I am done with him. Let's move on.
yeah, he's not the player. He's not the ideal outfit in a relegation battle. I actually thought. I mean, he's been poor in recent weeks.
But
He
yeah,
wasn't
Jake,
his poorest today.
I'd like to see him once he goes to another club. How he does. I have lost all thinking that he's going to do something for me because he should have done it by now and he hasn't. If he's an all-star, he at these times where we say, well, we're not able to nick no goals, we cannot finish the ball, he should have stepped up, especially if he wants to get his more money for his to sell. You know what I mean? Like his worth. So I'm just yeah, I'm done with him.
His value. Yeah, yeah. He gives the ball away too much. I mean, I've never met a Brazilian who gives the ball away too much. But yeah, it's been dreadful. It's been dreadful. Right, after some technical difficulties, his camera's not connected. We haven't seen his Tash, but it's gone. For goodness sake. I was just adding him to the stream, honestly. Nigel's getting too old for all this technology. Nigel was with us, and now he's not with us. So we will try and re-establish connection with Nigel because I imagine he has a few things to add to our discussions this evening. Good evening to everybody. I hope you are well. Danny, thanks for
Danny.
joining us. Goals are a massive issue. Absolutely. Remember, we turned down Watkins to sign Ben Rama, and Ollie
Oh
Watkins
my
has got a
God, that
brace
is
to
nuts.
beat Chelsea tonight in an Aston Villa side that have won 11 games on the
Mm,
bounce in all comps.
dang,
Yeah.
man.
Even Trod still licking my wounds. Absolutely. We'll come on to Scarles a little bit later on. A point wasn't enough. It wasn't. We needed 3, and unfortunately, we've come away with nothing. Totally agree. We've forgotten how to win. A poor day all round. Indeed, smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already right here on West Ham Unofficial. Well, there we are. The last time we won 3 in a row was December 2018, and that feels like that's the absolute, you know, that's the be all and end all now. That's what we've got to do
Yeah.
in order to establish some sort of connection. Here he is, right, once and for all. Here he is, the one, the only Nigel. Nigel, how are you? Have you had a
No,
few technical
Joe. Hey,
faults?
buddy.
What's going on?
Technical problems, technical problems.
Honestly,
Nigel, how you doing, buddy?
how are you, mate? You right?
I've been better. I've been
Yeah,
better.
all of us. Yeah.
It's always, although I don't live that far from London, that's always a long drive home when you get, when you see that really, isn't it?
Absolutely. Nigel, just give us your just overall assessment of what you saw this afternoon.
I saw us throw a game away really. We started quite well. I mean, when you think about it, you had the Magassa chance, which you said was a tap in. Bowen missed an open goal.
Yeah.
Summerville got in a great position. Dilly dallied, 1 or 2 touches. He should have just hit it first time. I think
Just
Potts
hit
had a
it.
chance there when he put Bowen. He was put Bowen through in the first half. He's offside. He should have just gone for goal. Had a shot. We had plenty of chances to take advantage in that game. And then Wilson dragged a couple, didn't he? So we had plenty of chances to win that game. We can't finish. Simple. We play. Listen, there's not a lot wrong with some of our play sometimes. But I saw when I saw the lineup, and I just said to him on the way, and I went, Scarles, He ain't our left back for us, mate. He's too inexperienced. I've been saying it for some time now. Kilman's rubbish, and Scarles just. I mean, 2 air shots there today. 2 air shots, not just one. The first one was an air shot he got
Yeah,
away
true.
with. The second time, he only has to concentrate. He only has to concentrate and kick it into touch. But he swings it like a 10-year-old, and that was awful.
Yeah. Let's talk about Ollie Scarles. There's a video that's circulating just after the full-time whistle where he was visibly emotional. He was practically bawling his eyes out, bless him, after the mistake that he knew that he'd, committed that led to the goal. Look, I think we can all agree Ollie Scarles is slightly too inexperienced to be West Ham's starting left back. I think it is incredibly poor the way he's been treated, the way he's just been chucked in. Let's not forget the games Ollie Scarles has come in. His debut was away at Villa in the Cup. He's then played against Arsenal. He's played against Man City. He's played against Liverpool. And he's played in a really high octane and important game today as a player that has had no experience beforehand, a player that quite clearly isn't quite there. Maybe as a player inside there, a couple of years' time, maybe, but not quite there yet. He's been chucked to the wolves again today, and he made a mistake, an awful mistake. It was a poor bit of play. To be fair, I didn't actually think he was that bad throughout the game. He was better than he was last week, but he made that pretty critical error that led to the goal. Then after the full-time whistle, there was just one player, Carl Walker-Peters, that went over to him when they all saw that he was crying, the poor lad, right? He was upset. Carl Walker-Peters was the only man that went up to him and made sure he was okay. There's no leaders. There's no leaders in that team. There's no togetherness in it. A certain Pablo Fornals was brought out onto the pitch before the game. What we do for a player like him right now, not for the quality or even for the, power of play that he had, just purely as a person and a uniting force in the dressing room. That dressing room's divided like never before. You've got a lad that's been chucked in with due Foster AFCON duty. You've got a 20-year-old who's struggling quite clearly, and he's only there because nobody else is available. And he's making a mistake, and he cares. Not a lot of them do. Let's be honest. He cares. He's made an error, and he's upset, and none of them could be bothered to go up and just make sure the lad's okay. I thought it was disgraceful, to be totally honest, and I thought that they should all be pretty ashamed of themselves. And at the end of the day, the lad at the moment is not good enough. Fine, but we need to give the lad some support. Otherwise, it's only going to get worse. Larry, we've got nobody else to put there, to be honest. So
Yeah,
he can't handle it, Skulls, but got to give the lad some support and help him out.
I got you, but I'm not going to give him enough grace as you just did because he played a bit prior to his shoulder injury. So he's had some time in the Prem and he's been playing well. I'm not trying to say, hey, somebody should uh not hey man and you make a mistake, but you're in a prem right now. He had his opportunity and those mistakes were rookie mistakes. I still like Scouse. You asked your dad, I've been the biggest proponent of Scouse when he came up and he's had his time there. But it's not just a reflection on Scouse, it's a reflection on our club. Because defensively, we always have a breakdown defensively. If it's him whipping on a ball, he should have cleared out and maybe in the 85th minute and maybe got 1 point. It's different. So I understand what you're saying there in the United. I think it's a little bit too much because Skiles has that. I understand he's upset. He's an academy guy. He's one of us. That's like me going out putting on the jersey and playing. So I got you, but this is the Prem League, and they're all men out there, and they have to take accountability for their stuff. And I respect Skiles. I'm going to give him a chance, but that was a big mistake that cost us a goal. And like I said before, the problem with us is we can't score goals. So when we make one, two mistakes leading to goals, we're not coming back. So yes, I'm gonna say, hey, Skiles is okay as we go down to the championship league.
Nigel, I do feel for him, to be honest, a little bit, Skulls. He's not good enough. I feel for him in a sense that it's not his fault that he's being chucked in there. He should be blamed for the goal, but he shouldn't be blamed for the reason he's there. The people who should be blamed for he's there is the people that failed to realise when we signed a left back in the summer that in 3 months' time he'll be leaving us for 6 weeks to go to AFCON and leave us with no left back there. The problem isn't with Skulls. The problem is that we failed to plan, and the problem is we've ended up with a 20-year-old out of his depth at left back in a relegation battle.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel he's been in and around the team for a couple of years now, and around the first team, he's played in Europe. You know what? When I knew he weren't good enough, He had a great game against Arsenal, and everyone's seen his praises. Do you remember he played against the next game and he got absolutely mullered? Liverpool. And Salah killed him. Do you remember? And that from that moment, I knew he
to be
was.
fair, Salah's killed quite a lot of fullbacks over the years that aren't 20 years old.
He just didn't look up to it. I don't
He's
think he's
not,
ever.
not up to it. Not up to it.
We've got a situation where if you watch from where I was today in my seats, right, in the second half, we get the ball, they all called it. So Scarles was calling it all the time. Yeah, I'll have it. In loads of room, getting the ball, in loads of room, then passing it backwards. And the same with Walker Peters in the second half. He was getting the ball, he wouldn't go forward. He wouldn't try and hit the line and try and get the ball in the box. Fredericks used to do it. Do you remember when we had him? Yeah. One of the fastest players in the league. He wouldn't hit the line and get the ball in the box. And this is the same. Scarles is not a player who's pacey with any skill to get the ball in the box. And so it's just today, I don't know if you saw it, he had so much room out there on the left-hand side and the ball was getting pinged from him time to time. And he got the ball in loads of space, had room in front of him. He did put one good ball through to Bowen, right? But he's not trying to beat a man, or he's not trying to get the ball in the box. He's literally getting the ball on his left foot, looking up, then coming back inside. Well, that's just not. There's no progression now.
No, it's not. No, I mean, the biggest mistake we made was letting Emerson go to start because I didn't think there was too much wrong with him. We let Emerson go. We let Creswell go, which all right. Creswell hasn't been amazing, but blimey, even I think Scarles could do with a bit of help from someone like Creswell.
Creswell wouldn't have made that mistake today. With them air shots, Creswell would not have made the mistake. He wouldn't have took a wild swing at that. And there was twice he done it. It was twice he done it. The first time he got away with it. Remember down the right hand side, he got away with it. Mm-hmm. When someone pinned the ball over the top and he just completely air shot miskicked it, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. And then in that one, as soon as he missed it, right, in that moment at the end, I knew they'd score. And you know what? To be fair, who was marking him in this? He comes straight in between two defenders.
Nobody. Yeah, he was wide open.
It was the most inevitable thing to come. We had a couple of decent spells in the second half, and then they got on top a little bit, and they had 10 minutes where they dominated, and it was the most inevitable thing to ever happen, and it was soft, and they probably didn't deserve to win. I thought it was a draw game. I thought it was 0-0 all over it. But it felt inevitable from 70, 75 minutes that they were going to score, and we were never coming back from that, Larry, were we?
No, I agree with you. At the end, I thought it was going to be a draw. I didn't want it, but after not getting anything, it was something else. But again, it goes to show you that Fulham was not a better team than us. And people say, "Oh, you're going to say that," but it's true. But again, and Nigel said it, and I'll say it till the cows come home. But if we can't finish the ball and get them opportunities in their first half, Bowen had opportunities offside a couple times, Paqueta offsides. Second half, Wilson kind of got it, but couldn't finish there. Some wild plays. It makes a difference. It's a difference between a victory and a loss, right? And then if you're going to play a game like that, you better be solid on defense. You better not make the mistakes. But and no offense today, but we've had it. We play everybody close, and that we have a defensive lapse once or twice a match that causes a goal. We can't rebound because we can't finish, and that's why we're at where we're at. We're playing teams like you said, Jake. You go down the list there. We weren't getting battered by some of them teams. We were in the matches, but the thing was not scoring and having a defensive lapse is why we're at where we're now. That's where we're at.
Absolutely. Before we carry on, just a couple of comments. Rich, thank you very much for the £5 in the chat. Put this towards Jake's food. I bet Dad paid for the chicken. I can confirm that Dad did pay for
that
our
chicken
lovely
looked good.
chicken this afternoon.
That looked good.
We had some lovely chicken in Westfield this afternoon. It was joyous, and it was purchased by the father. So thank you very much, Father, and thank you very much, Rich, for the donation into the chat. Let's take some of your comments and let's springboard and have a few discussions coming off the back of them. Right, where did I get to? Let's go here. On to next game. We still have a lot of games. We do. It's all not lost. I felt my first. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I was stood in the lower tier of the Bobby Moore stand this afternoon, Nigel. When that goal went in, the place emptied, and there was an overwhelming sense of. I mean, I turned around to Dad and went, "That's it, we're done." Like I'm pretty convinced that I can't see a way out of this for us. To be honest, I'm really struggling to see how we can make up these points to get near Leeds and Forest.
Well, today, mate, I said I looked at it before and Forest lost. And I said, you know what? If we get 3 points today and we can beat Forest, it reels them in that much closer to us. But all we've just done is we completely made a pig's ear of it. And yeah, I can't see. You know what? I think we needed to win 3 out of these 4 games.
Yeah.
So if we don't win the next 3, I think we're done. Because these are games we should be winning, especially at home. We should be beating Fulham at home. I think we're probably. Do you know what? I think we'll probably get turned over at Wolves. I do actually think that. I've just got this bad feeling. I think we'll beat Forest. But like I say, everyone's just moving further and further away from us. We're making absolutely zero progress going forward. And unless we start winning games and not drawing, I mean, just winning games where there's no way out of this for us. 13
And then
points.
it begs the question. Yeah, I mean,
sure.
then it begs the question, when was the last time we won 3 games on the bounce? December 2018 was the last time we won 3 games on the bounce in the Premier
There
League.
you go. There you go.
Like, I agree. We needed a minimum of 9 points from these 4 games, and now that's the maximum we're going to get. So
Yeah.
it is right. Let's talk about Summerville. Coming in from a Leeds fan, Summerville was greedy when he played for us. I'm surprised he didn't shoot when he had the chance. He's really starting to frustrate me, Larry. I'm going to be totally honest. He's a player that gets himself into good positions, but fails every single time to produce with a final ball or a final shot.
Yep, I agree. Danny's a good man. He's a big Leeds fan, and I talk with him often. And the thing was, and I brought when Somerville came on, he had a little more pace to him. And God, he gets hurt a couple times, but the last couple times he is holding on to the ball too much. He's not making them quick passes. He's delaying it enough where it's causing either not being able to deliver the ball to another player or not being able to make a proper shot on the goal. He's waiting too long, and he's a small guy, so he's got to be quick, fast, and execute. And he's not doing that. It's not a Somerville like. I've been a big fan of him, but once he came back from the injury, now the last couple showings, he's not really done it for me. But Danny's spot on.
Yeah, Nigel, I questioned his physicality when he came to the club, but that seems okay. The problem is with his end product.
Oh, it's like watching Benrahma again.
Oh,
It
it's
is,
It's
isn't
true.
it?
That's a good shout,
he's
Nigel. You're right. Yeah.
he's he's the thing is today he got a great position and he could have just put his foot through it, but he didn't. And touch. When he runs at players, he draws players in, and that's what I like about him because he'll go in between the players, and he looks good when he does that. But we don't actually give him the ball enough in front of him to do that. He's constantly playing with his. If you watch, he's constantly having a playing with his back to the forwards. You watch that about him, and he has to come and. Do you know what I mean? He needs to. He's a player that needs to be sitting wide and be and telling people where he wants the ball played
Yeah.
because he's not. Again, his physicality all right. It's all right, his physicality, but he's not. He's not that player that can go and get stuck in and win. Do you know what I mean? He's got to be played in. When he played against Forest, and we started putting him in behind the fullbacks. Oh, he was dynamite. But
Yeah.
like I say, it's like watching Saeed Benrahma.
All over again, but worse. Right, a few comments about Scarles. Still think Scarles is better than Juve for me. Scarles was tired, made a couple of mistakes. Scarles can't handle the quick wingers, but did well today. Juve more of a wing back or a winger for me. He's certainly not a full back. He does prefer to move forward, does Juve. Troy says, I blame Paqueta more than anyone. Last few managers tried to build a team around him, and it just doesn't work.
Good shout, George. Great.
Ollie and Walker Peters were my man of the match. To be honest, I thought both fullbacks done well, minus the mistakes that were made. We should never have let Emerson go. Leaving Scarles alone because of AFCON at his age is unforgivable. Kilman should have been looking after Scarles with the mistakes that he made. Todibo, whatever he did afterwards, yeah. I forgot about Todibo. I thought Todibo had an okay game. He's looking a little bit more solid than he once was, which is a positive. He hasn't got much help with Kilman next to him, in my opinion, but he's starting to look a little bit better. But it's a disjointed back line which looks all over the place and is second rate and is championship standard, isn't it? Really? But, yeah, I don't.
I've got to disagree with about the match thing with Walker Peters. I thought Walker Peters made some good challenges, and he defended quite well. But going forward, we just had nothing from them fullbacks going forward. It's dreadful.
I thought in the second half, Walker Peters brought the ball up a bunch, so I thought he did all right. The left side, and again, to keep saying Doof's not on that side. Scarles is covering up for Wan-Bissaka's side right now, so Doof's on the other side. So I don't think how can you compare that? Where does Scarles play on the right wing? No, he usually plays left, right? And it's the side that Wan-Bissaka's playing. So the biggest discrepancy that hurts probably the most now was Juan being out and Scarles there. I'm not trying to bash Scarles anymore. Trust me, I like the lad. He's part of the team, came through the academy, but it hurt us. He had a roller coaster match.
I think that Walker Peters is a great player. I think going back, he was an England player, wasn't he? Walker Peters.
I think so.
England.
Yeah.
He's a good player, and he's decent. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy to have him at right back. But he just didn't. Towards the end of the game, maybe it was tiredness, but he just didn't want to go forward. There was times there we could have busted his nuts and got forward and got the ball in, but he just didn't want to. He just wanted to come back inside all the time. And Scarles just won't. He won't. He's not that. To me, you know, he's a young lad. He's a good footballer, but otherwise he wouldn't be in the team. But he ain't good enough to play in that position, and he can't go past anyone. He's got absolutely zero. He can't beat a man. So, you know, you need to be able to go past a man and get a ball in if you're going to play wide on the left-hand side. And, you know, like I say, I feel sorry for him. Yeah, I do feel sorry for him.
Do I. I do too.
I thought he was. He's not
trying. Yeah.
Them mistakes, you know, a good defender wouldn't be just having a swing at it from there like that when it come across. He should have actually watched the ball. Do you know what I mean? Kept his eye on it and made sure he made contact. But he did. He looked up, saw it, had a swing at it, and that was it. Done, wasn't it? Cost us the game.
Yeah, absolutely. We are sacrificing a striker for an extra midfield player. Why are we playing 3 in midfield and Paqueta, who has to come back into the midfield to get into the game? So that's what it essentially ends up with. We've got Paqueta playing in a more sort of winger role because we've got nobody else, and because we're not playing Wilson's, and we've got 3 in midfield of Magassa, Potts, and Fernandez, who are okay, fine. They're you know, decent midfield players, but I never get the sense that we're commanding a midfield. They're good players, but you know, I don't think we've got control over it, Larry.
I can tell you something right now. If you're watching Fernandez, he's learning to control that midfield, and he's rolling it. He doesn't need Paqueta to back him up for anything. And then Potts and Magassa, Paqueta, trust me, Mandy, Paqueta coming back to help them out, they don't need his help. They're doing much better without Paqueta around there. A lot of times you saw that Fernandez is leading the charge, passing Paqueta for them quick passes back and forth. It's not Paqueta. Paqueta goes there, he gets around a couple players and loses the ball. So
There's no doubt.
Out of anything, I'm very happy with the progression of our midfield with the Magassa, the Potts, and Fernandez. I really am liking what I see. I really am.
Me too, Larry. I'm with you on that, mate, because do you know what? I've said it for some time now that we move the ball quicker without Paqueta in the team. He always puts his foot on it, takes that extra couple of seconds for people, and he gets people can get back and face up with him because he rolls the ball over his foot. He does this. There's times today where he got the ball, he could have laid it quick, he didn't. And it all stems from, do you remember we played Leverkusen out there? And I was at that game and he slowed the ball down. When we played him at home and he was suspended, we could have beat Leverkusen. And I've said it every time he does not play.
That sort of home performance against Leverkusen, that was the best performance since that day. We haven't had a performance better since then, in my opinion. There's no doubt that Paqueta is a liability at the moment. He's a player that, you're right, he slows it down. He loses the ball far too often. I mean, you'd never meet a Brazilian that gives the ball away so much as Paqueta.
100%.
It's baffling, and that midfield is better without him. But then the issue that we've got, and again, I can't help but come back to recruitment in the sense that we got those 3 in midfield that are fine, leave it, it's polished, don't touch them. But Paqueta is coming back to try and get the ball because Paqueta doesn't really know what to do because he's not a winger and he's not a false 9. So he's going back to his natural habitat. He's going back to midfield, where really instead of Paqueta, it should be a striker or Wilson there to then complete that front three. And look, when Wilson came on, we looked a lot more threatening because we were putting some decent balls in the box and there was actually a striker in there. We looked better when Wilson came on, but Wilson's not the answer. Wilson's 33 and can't play 90 minutes, right? But the lad's trying his best at what he can do. If we're a decent striker there, Fulkrug's gone to Milan now. If we're a decent striker there, then Paqueta wouldn't be in that team right now, for being totally honest. Maybe you play instead of Summerville. But if you had a proper striker there, you'd have those three up front and the three in midfield, and there wouldn't be any need for the liability at the moment, which is Paqueta, Larry.
Yeah, good shout, Jake. I totally agree with you. I think Paqueta's in a spot where he doesn't know where he belongs and all stuff like that. But to me, we have to do something. It'd be great in January. But my thing is, I think his stock is dropping. If other teams are really looking at him and how he's performing, how he's playing, and he wants to be a game changer and a maker, he's not doing it. He has the opportunity. We put some fast midfielders there with him, and he could be up there as he's the number 10 or whatever position he wants, and he's not producing. He turns the ball over a lot, and I just I'm done with them actually. You know, I said I'm if we can make it or whatever, I'm happy with that progression. I think what you hit spot on. We need a younger striker in there. Somerville, if he doesn't, I still give him a chance because he's got some potential, and we have to finish. Our critical part right now is finishing the dang ball. There's not many teams that now we don't know what a clean sheet looks like, not even in our bed. So it's hard for us to say what we're going to do there. But if we make without scoring enough, we're going to make a critical mistake, one or two in, and we can't afford that. If we could freaking find out how to finish, we're down there so many times, and that's our key. And I think when no matter what you say, I think it was like the 55th minute is when Wilson came in. Good, bad, or indifferent, we started getting them all ball into the middle, and Wilson knows where to be. He knows where to
Yeah.
be in that midfield. They know, like, even they'll pitch it up. He knows where to be. He's a bigger guy. He backs up them center backs with his back, and he can bully him and make the forward. That's what we're missing.
He is a bully, mate. He is a bully.
He's a boy, yeah, I like it, but he's like Jake, just spot on. He's how old is he now? He's like he can't do a full match, and I still like to keep. I think he's. We were all like, why did we pick him up? Actually, he's probably helped us try to stay where we're at now, which is sad. But we need something younger, hard, bully like that.
The issue with it is that, I mean, Larry highlighted the point there, is Paqueta's currently homeless, Nigel, in the sense of he's not
Yeah,
a winger, he's not a striker, he doesn't really know where he's
mhm,
going, to be honest. He's just milling
true.
around, causing trouble, being mayhem, but not in a good way, being bad mayhem, because all he does is give the ball away. So he's sort of being some sort of winger stroke false nine player, but he's neither of those, is he?
Do you know what he is? He's the Lucas
Nightmare.
Paqueta show. That's what he is. That's what he
Yeah.
is. The Lucas Paqueta show. It's all about him, right?
That's true.
We've got two players there in Earthy and Kante, young players. Do you know what? I think Fernandez is the future of our centre midfield. I think he's a fantastic player, and he looks the best player we've got at the moment. When he's on the ball, he's a super player. He's got all the skills, all the moves, the little flex, all the same as Paqueta's got, but he does not give the ball away like he does, and he don't do anything stupid, right?
He keeps
He's
it
a great
simple.
player, and if you
Spot on.
if
Spot
you
on.
put someone like George Murphy, who's a little live wire, or Kante, and start getting in amongst it, right, and lose Paqueta, I think we'd be a better team. And going
Okay.
forward, I do think that the future is in the younger players. Do you know what I mean? Lucas Paqueta is a one-man band, and do you know what? If someone comes in for him, we get good money. Get the money because we've got players there that can play, and Fernandez could take the place of Paqueta. I think he's that good. I really do.
I agree.
Yeah, 100%. Paqueta is being more of a burden than anything else on this West Ham side at the moment. From Prague to Preston, that is the way we are currently going. If Leeds win tomorrow, they go what, 9 points clear, is it, or 8 points clear
6, 9,
of us?
9. Yeah, what do they got? They got right now. We have 13. They have. I think they have 19. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's got 19. I mean, it's such a gap, and it's widening by the week, and
Mhm.
we cannot afford to it. to get anymore. I turned the game off when Scarles had that mistake, and I'm not blaming the kid. I'm blaming Nuno for bringing on a Wilson who should have been brought on when Summerville was tanking and started for sure. Paqueta, Potts, Fernandes on Magassa. No one makes late runs into the box or are box-to-box players. I mean, we're missing a prime Souček for goals more than anything. There's no goals in this team, and I'm not saying that Souček is the answer because that midfield looks quite settled at the moment. But there's no getting away from the fact and reality is that there is no team that there's no goals in this team. Souček scored 9 or 10 last year, and Souček's not playing this year, so we're missing his goals, and nobody's picking up his goals. Nobody's scoring any goals. We don't score goals. Goals? What's that? We don't score them, Larry.
No, 100%. He's spot on, box to box, inside the box. That's what we've been talking about. Actually, I've been talking about it for about a year or two on finishing, but especially this year, it's gotten even worse. We don't have that type of player. Souček is not the answer. We love to see him come on making the plays, but he's not fast enough. Wilson, he was our leading scorer with 4 goals, but I think as the year progresses, and we don't even play in Europe, we play one game a week. He can't get a full. You can't get probably a full match out of him because he's just, you do what you can. So that's a challenge we have to have. And then the question is, and it's probably for a whole nother show that you should do, Jake, is what do we think we're going to do in a January window? Or can we? How can we lure a good striker to a team that could be going into relegation? That's a whole nother thing. You got to put a lot of money in front of them right now. But who wants to come to a team that's struggling? And next thing you know, they're in the championship league in the summertime, right? That's a tough ask.
That's the underlying reality as we very soon enter the January transfer window. Who's going to want to come to this, Nigel?
Do you know what the laughable thing is? The people that we've been linked with. It's like Traore, he couldn't even get off the bench today. Where would he fit in our team? Just running down the right wing, down blind alleyways. And we're on about signing Wolves centre forward, Strand Larsen.
I know. No, I'm going to laugh.
He's scored 3 goals, I think. 1 in the Premier League. 2 of the goals he scored against us.
Against us in the cup, yeah.
He's a guy who relies on crosses, right? We don't ever get any crosses. Our fullbacks don't attack and get crosses in. So where would he score goals?
It's pretty embarrassing when our big top means, we're ready to sign a big player from Wolves who is at the bottom of the league with 2 points. Yeah, that's really a big signing.
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, right now we just reenact the board meeting, couldn't you? Right, recruitment.
Yeah,
so what should we do for recruitment? I know what we should do. We should go and raid Wolves. They're doing really well, aren't they, the Wolves? Let's go and raid them with all their really good players because they're doing brilliantly.
Exactly. That's true.
Honestly, who's going to want to come to a team like us? And especially a centre forward's going to look at that. Because if you're a centre forward, you're going to think, how would I fit into that team? And then you're going to be reading all this online about we've had 50 strikers. We've ruined 50. Them all. We even managed to ruin Haller, who went on to be the top striker in the Champions League.
Yep.
And he couldn't score for us. So who's going to want to come to us?
That's the question.
People like Callum Wilson. We always end up with old Finnish strikers. I remember the likes of signing Lee Chapman, Ian Wright. These people were done. They were in their 30s when we signed them. Do you know what I mean? They was done. Those like, we'll see out our careers here at West Ham. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what always happens. We've always been bargain basement. We think, we're signing them because they're a big name. Yeah, there's a big name like 10 years ago. I'm surprised we didn't sign I'm surprised Jamie Vardy ain't our centre forward.
Jamie Vardy, that's a shout. They'll be tapping him up. Right, let's fire through some comments. I must admit I wanted to leave by 80 minutes. Could see us conceding from 81 minutes. They kept the ball. This hits a nail on the head. We only have one player from the bench capable of making an impact. That's embarrassing, and that's where the problem stems from. All the other teams have at least got some sort of outlets and threats to come off the bench. We've got Andy Irving to come off the bench and Guido Rodriguez. So that tells you everything you need to know there. Summerville is a lot of watching. Benny,
yeah, so I agree. Nigel said it. I agree with that.
The bench is awful. It is. Even previously relegated teams had bench options. Sorry?
His bench our new striker.
Yeah.
Probably do better. Move faster.
He'd do a job for us, I reckon. He'd do a job for us, but hey ho. I mean, yeah, if Sunderland leaves tomorrow, and we could do a Sunderland doing a job on them, couldn't we? And let's hope that they can do something decent up there. For one moment, I thought City weren't going to beat Forest, and I was like, this is just going from bad to worse. But yeah, they managed to get that over the line. Mandy, I am tired of moaning and losing and being depressed and stressed watching West Ham, aren't we all? Aren't we all?
You're so
Brilliant
right,
management.
man.
Let's talk. Let's talk about Jarrod Bowen, a player that thrives off confidence, a player with the captain's armband, a player that isn't a captain. I think we can all agree. I noticed today a couple of times he got the ball in good positions. He had the ability to run forward with it. He looks, I'm not saying scared, but he looks like uneasy running at men now, whereas in the past he used to run and ragged and cut inside and cause problems. He looks scared to take a man on, Nigel, and he looks half the player he was in previous seasons.
He's been awful. In fairness, today, I mean, what was it? He should have scored. I've seen him miss a couple of sitters lately. That one today, I mean, that was harder to miss that. That was harder to miss that. He would have buried that last season. He just doesn't look the same player. Don't get me wrong. When he's a strong bloke, he's a strong bloke. When he goes down the line, he cuts inside. It's good, but there's no end product at the moment from Jarrod, and I feel sorry for him. It's like we're draining the life out of the bloke. I honestly think that because he's a great player, and he's just thinking. He must be thinking to himself, "What am I doing?" He's never going to get in the England team playing for us, mate, is he? Come on, let's face it.
He's not. He is disintegrating by the week, Larry, isn't he?
Yeah, it was sad. Like Nigel said earlier, that shot, that pass to Magasa, it was hard to miss that goal, and he missed that. And he in the beginning of the game, he had a couple offsides where he was rushing too much. I think there's a lot of pressure on him. He's feeling a lot of heat because he loves the badge. He hears the fans. I'm telling you, that's a guy who loves the team. He hears the fans. So I think there's a lot of weight on him. I'm not making excuses for him, but he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders. And we always said he wasn't the most vocal and all that stuff, but it's tough. And I don't know if he feels like he's got the backing as he moves up there. You see him, he's like dead to the ground and stuff like that moving forward. But he has not been the player we've seen in the past, and I just think the pressure's really gotten to him.
Absolutely, for sure. Before we carry on, we've got 45 people watching. What we would do to get 45 points by the end of the season, I don't think we're going to get anywhere near that. But if you are watching us live, we've gone down to 41 now. We might get to 41, I doubt it. But hit that like button if you haven't already subscribed to West Ham Official. You can check out the matchday vlog from earlier on. I, of course, was at the London Stadium, and you can see it from my angle. It wasn't much better. I'll give you a spoiler right now. It wasn't the best, but hey ho. Right, this is a really good comment here. Really good one from Dabble. When you sign previously relegated players from the Premiership, as well as players that are unproven in the Premier League, you usually head one way, relegation, and youth players won't save you. Fernandez has been very good. Let's just say that, and we've
I agree with
spoken
that.
about
That's a good.
Fernandez
Yep.
before.
But that's a
But
good point.
I keep always going back to recruitment because I mean it is undoubtedly where, and it's got us into this mess now, and we are in a complete mess. But trying to rely, and we've blagged our way through. Let's be honest about it. We've signed the wrong players, and we've blagged our way through the last few years. We were not very good in the Conference League year. We were not very good in the year after because it prompted Moyes' departure. We were awful last season under Lopetegui and Potter, and we're even worse this season. We've relied upon players that we shouldn't rely on, and Nigel, it's got us into this situation now where the final part of that comment, youth players won't save you, and that's ever more prominent today.
Here's something interesting. When we say youth players, excuse me, right, we've probably got, if you think about it, our youth team 2 years ago was the best youth team out there.
Yep.
They won
Academy of
everything.
football.
They won everything. They won the league. They won the cup, beating Arsenal's players, youth players that are in their team now. Right? These players are good enough, but I don't think at the time we should have been getting them in and bedded in. We didn't. Lopetegui wouldn't play them. I think Nuno is. I think he's a good manager. I do think he's a good manager. I think he's getting these players. Look, regardless of what happens, whether we get relegated or not, some of these players that we've got, these youth players, are top-notch players, and we've got to get them in amongst it. That Kante's a beast. Have you seen him playing some of those games? And Earthy's a great little player. He's come on. He's been good last season for us, Earthy. Come on, and when he's come on, he's looked good. I just think we should be blooding some of these guys and getting them in the team, because it can't get any worse, can it? Do you know what? We haven't even been that bad. We haven't been awful. Let's face it. Today, them players put a shift in, didn't they? They did put a shift in. They put a shift in, but it's just the finishing and the little tiny little mistakes, the lapses in concentration, is what is losing us games. It's not the effort or the ability of some of our players, because we've got some very good footballers, and there is good effort put in out there. They put a shift in, but it's the finishing and the lapses of concentration that have cost us this season.
100%.
Sure. No, absolutely. Larry, we've got to the point where we're relying on these players now, and these players simply aren't good enough. They're not cutting the mustard. They're not, they're not providing and performing what is required. And let's not suggest that we're expecting brilliance here. We are expecting the bare minimum, and we're not reaching it. All right, the performances have been slightly better, but it's now getting to the point where we can't sit here for many more weeks to say the performance was all right, but we lost, or the performance was all right, and we got a point. We need to win football matches. We could tomorrow be, we are now 5 points adrift. We could be 9 points adrift of Leeds tomorrow. That's nearly unassailable in this situation.
100%. And the reality is, if anybody thinks January is going to be rainbows and everything perfect, you're
Exactly. Yeah.
mistaken. Because
Yeah.
we've talked about it. What game changers are going to want to come to a team that's in relegation? So there's the tiny part that and Nigel hit on. I couldn't have said it better. Is that we've not played bad. We've been in these matches, but we need to find a way to finish, and we need to stop the mistakes. The problem is there's a lot of teams out there that'll make one mistake or so, but they can score a couple goals and make up for that. We are not one of those teams. And until we can do that, and I wish I had a magic potion that could decide how we could do this. I don't know. You know what I mean? We got to get him out there. Did Wilson go start and all that? Who knows? It's just we're there, but it's a frustrating match today and other ones because we're in there. And then we have our laps, and nothing against Scarles because he's not the only one. How many times has Kilman killed us? No pun intended. But different things like that. We've had mistakes where it's happening. Until we can get over that, I wish I knew the answer. I know one thing, I'm not going to give up on the team. I will never do that. But it's just
Mm.
something that they're going to have to work it out. And I'm telling you right now, I like Nuno. And how many in the last couple years we keep changing out managers and different things like that. We're fighting to get rid of ownership to pay more money for that. That's a whole nother side. And that's a big part of it, right? It is. And the player's performance. But I'm tired of going through the motions of getting rid of the manager because I think what we've noticed by this carousel of managers since Moyes, it's not working. There's some other problem because we're not getting better. Getting worse. So I'd like Nuno stick with the process. I know that's a bad word. Stick with him and his strategy, and we just got to figure it out.
I
Absolutely.
agree.
Right, we are 15 minutes behind on the comments, so let's rattle through some of your comments and get your thoughts out there. Double, the players are mainly looking for the perfect pass/cross, and when that isn't there, they're pissballing about trying to do stupid tricks instead of just playing simple passes. I present to you Lucas Paqueta is the prime
Exactly that.
example.
That's exactly, yep. Perfect, Jake. Yep.
Of that indeed. Mandy says Nuno set up not to concede in a must-win game against Fulham at home. We have no chance of winning our way out of this mess unless you sack him now. I've heard calls about this.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree
I'm
with that.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think that sacking the manager is the right call. Because at the end of the day, we're going to end up in a vicious circle of just sacking managers for the sake of it, where we've got to uncover. And yes, all right. I'd have bought Wilson on earlier today, and I probably would have started him. Fine. He's made errors, Nuno, as every manager has done, but it's not his fault. The squad that he's currently got with him there, right? You can't blame the bloke because that squad is tragic, right? It is. There's no other word for it. It is bloody tragic. So he's trying his best, and yes, he could have started Wilson today, and he probably should have done, but you've got to cut him some slack, Larry, and sacking him achieves nothing, I think.
100%. Today, you cannot blame Nuno for anything. I'm telling you right now, Nuno's not in the box finishing the goals. He put the players out there. The Wilson dilemma is his age and how long he can stay on the pitch. So you challenge it. Summerville, you hope he's going to come around after his injury. He's been a little bit lackluster, but he showed signs of brilliance there, and it can get there. So when he saw that wasn't happen, he didn't wait to the 60th minute, but he waited about 10 minutes in, 55th, and brought Wilson in. So and it's not just about Nuno. I'm tired. They make the mistakes, but the players got to take accountability. And then if you go back strategically, then we can do what we're as fans we're doing is we're going at the ownership saying you let us down. You've not invested enough into the team, so let's handle it that way. But this carousel of managers coming and going, as West Ham fans, I'm getting tired of hearing it. We talk about this crap all the time, and that's all the shows are about. Let's move on from that, in my opinion.
No, I agree. There's no point, Nigel. There's no point going out there and sacking him now because the squad's crap, and a different manager isn't gonna, reinvent the wheel with these players. They are crap, most of them.
Well, look, they was talking about it on Talksport on the way home. They're saying,
Yeah.
and there was some people saying, "Oh, get rid of Nuno." There's no point in sacking him. He's inherited that team. He hasn't had any chance really. He's got to make the best of what he's got. It's not his fault. I wouldn't sack him. I actually think he's a good manager. I really do think he's a good manager, and I think he could get he's getting something more out of the players than we've had when Potter was there. Let's face it, he's a better manager than Potter's been. But I worry.
Been better. Listen, the results might not suggest it to a big extent, but we have played a lot better football and it's a lot more positive under Nuno than we did under Potter.
Some of our football's been quite good. We've looked all right, and them draws we had was unlucky. We got unlucky against Brighton, conceded late, and that. These points are just little mistakes we've made. I think that unless we get 9 points now, I think we're doomed. Because you look at you've seen our January fixtures. We got to go to Tottenham and Chelsea.
Exactly. Away, both of them away as well.
And we got QPR in the cup. Maybe we should be concentrating on staying up, not on the cup. Everyone's going to go, oh, nice to have a cup run. But I think we should be trying out some of these players like Urfi and Kante in the cup against QPR.
In the cup, absolutely.
See what they look. That's good. That's a good idea.
Getting them in there, resting some of the players, and try and stay up. That's our priority, is to stay. Because I tell you what, Tottenham and Chelsea, I can't see us getting anything of them games.
Not at all. And then it's just, the games are narrowing.
These 9 points are pivotal to our season.
Yeah,
they really, really are. And Wolves, we've got to be beating Wolves. We've got to be beating Forest. And we did hand it to Brighton the other day. We did play really well against them. But then again, we did have Wan-Bissaka and Juve, and they're a big miss for us. Do you know what I mean? Because both of those players played actually well against Brighton, didn't they? Especially Wan-Bissaka. So. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Brighton game at home will be a completely different kettle of fish. But I do think we need to win.
Nigel, we're over here.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, so I've got two computers on the go.
It's all right. That's all right. You were just, you were looking into the distance of Larry's lovely.
Into that camera, but that's the cameras there. Yeah.
There we go.
That was my technical issue, setting up beforehand because I had to put a laptop next to it.
All good. Traore and Wood are old, but they'll improve the team. They would. It can't get much worse. Chris Wood, well, blimey. Who knows at this point. Let's have a look here. First half, if Wilson was with him in the mix, I think it would have I think it would have maybe been all right with Bowen's. If Bowen, if we could just convert a couple of those chances. That one which Bowen had just wide, Wilson pulled one wide. There were chances there, but we can't score goals, and that's the bottom line of it. We cannot score goals. Fernandez has been good. I'll take the academy coaches over Nuno right now, though. People are starting to get frustrated with him. I'm out going to support Arsenal instead. Oh dear. 97% of Premier League youth players do not make Premier League debuts. Indeed. There's probably a reason for that. Hi lads. If you put everything aside, would you offer Wilson a 2-year contract on what you've seen? 2-year pushes it. Well, we've got to ask him whether he wants to play in the Championship, to be honest. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of factors that have got to come into play there, Larry. I mean, he scored 4 goals, and if he scores 4 more, it will probably keep us up, and he will, if he does that, keep us up. But would you be offering him a new contract in the summer?
I don't know the way we have been playing him. When he got them goals like there, he had the 1-2 in one game, right, in one match. And the thing is, he was starting at that point, and then Nuno was pulling him out in like the midpoint. So do we try that strategy instead of him coming off the bench? Um, I think so. I would sit Paqueta and put him in and see what it's at. Now, when it comes to our contract, now let's see to the end of the season. He's still a bit older. We got him on a free, right? So I think maybe
Yeah,
sign him, I would go for maybe a 1 year contract. And by his age and wanting to stay in the Prem, now he's had a decent season. Somebody else going to go after him. I'd go for a 1 year contract. But again, it's
absolutely.
too premature. Let's see the end of the season.
Absolutely. Yeah, January. I mean, yeah, people think in January we're going to start bringing in loads of blooming brilliant players. Then,
I
well,
just,
they're
yeah,
slightly
we talked
mistaken.
about
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. It's going to be bleak, to be totally honest. That is probably what it's going to be. But there we go. Good evening, Lon of the Bullion. I hope you are well. What do we get to on these comments? We're nearly at the bottom of the comments. Jake Earthy and Wilson have to come in for Paqueta and Summerville. I mean, it's hard to disagree with that, really, isn't it,
Yeah. No,
Nigel?
Earthy definitely should be in with a shout. He was one of Bristol City's best players last year. My mate's a City supporter, and he was gutted to lose him. He said he was absolutely phenomenal for them. Do you know what though? I'm going to make you laugh here. I would have kept Antonio if I knew it was going to be like this now.
yeah.
I said the same thing earlier. I said the same thing earlier. I said to Dad, I said we should have kept Creswell, we should have kept Soufal, and we should have kept Antonio.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know what? Much as much as Antonio was, what he was, he was a bully. And do you know what? He was an handful, mate.
Yep.
He used to make defenders defend. We don't make when centre halves when they play us have got the easiest games they've got in the league. Do you not agree? They pick the ball up, and most teams when they play us, their centre halves are up, running up to the halfway line with the ball.
Easy.
Every
Oh,
week, and I'm
every
like,
day.
why are
Yep.
we not pushing
Yep.
these guys? Why
They're
are we
not
not putting them
scared.
under pressure? And the
100%.
only time they was under pressure today is when Callum Wilson came on.
Mm.
The rest of the time, they was just getting the ball and then running out to the halfway line.
Yeah.
And we do it every week.
Yep. They're not
But
intimidated by us at all.
it's the presence of it, and it's just having somebody who's got striker instincts up front. Automatically, the centre halves switch. They've got to think about it a little bit more. They've gone from having some bloke up front who ain't a striker or ain't a forward or anything to Callum Wilson there, who's going to hold the ball up, lay it off, bring a bit of physicality, and they change instantly. There's a little bit of, they sort of step back and they, they sort of flinch up a little bit.
They
They've,
start thinking they've got to actually defend.
yeah, exactly. They've got to actually defend. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Yeah, and that's the thing which we're failing to do when we're not in there, Larry. Or were you just waving at somebody or waving at me?
My wife looking at me, seeing I was still in line. Yeah, that was good. Sorry. No, sorry.
That's all right. Oh, Larry's being told he's got to go.
No, no, no. I still got a little bit more time.
Yeah.
But no, I'm
We will.
sorry. But you're right though. I guess our thing was, and I don't know the answer. You guys may know. How's Antonio from his injury? Has he slowed down some when he came and played for different, teams and tried out for
I think he's
different
gone to
teams?
Brentford. I think he's gone to
Yeah.
Brentford.
And because you guys are spot on there. If we talked about Bull and backing up like Wilson did. Heck, that's what Antonio's game was. He was just a little bit shorter sometimes, and no offense to him, but the problem is the big center backs always had his number because they were a little bit higher. So if you try to get the ball up the pitch to him, and he's at midline, and they still weren't threatened by West Ham a lot. The center backs are all the way up, like Nigel said, almost at midfield, and they would just like tower over Antonio. So if he didn't back up and back it up and push it there, that could be an issue. But you were threatened by him because if he got by, you stand by. You know what I mean? So we don't have that. Besides Wilson, we don't have anybody else right now on the team that can do that type of skill. Full Krug, he's gone now, and that's a problem that we're having.
He was
Absolutely.
crap, wasn't he? Fulcrum.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was
crap.
Oh, oh.
He
yeah,
was dreadful. Honestly, mate, I can't believe how bad. And it's Germany's centre forward.
yeah. No, he was. He's a
He
lot of
was.
talk, no action. Couple plays, but that was it.
He weren't even
Yeah.
that big.
No.
No, he
it's a
wasn't. I
good
was
journey. When
expecting
you
this
actually
man
saw
mountain. I
him,
saw him in real life for
He's
the first time. Well, that geezer ain't really much, you know, he ain't big, is he? No.
you, and nowadays you need a strong, in my opinion, a big striker that handles these big, strong center backs that are going to bully the crap out of you if you're not. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Wilson's not a big guy, but he can bully around and stuff like that. If not, they tower all over you.
no one bullies Haaland, do they?
No help.
exactly.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, that's a whole other story. He's on my fantasy team.
Mine too.
and and to be fair, no one bullies Nigel the Tash King. It's a very
The
good little
Tash.
nickname we've got on there.
I like it. The stash is
Yeah.
looking good, Nigel, as usual.
I
I
didn't
tell you
actually
what
put.
though,
I think
Nige,
Una put that on there.
this
Yeah, she's. Yeah, yeah,
That's
I
his
didn't.
very good.
He's getting
his
quite big, though, again.
his
Yeah. I
producer.
tell you what though, with this time of year, people eat Pringles quite a lot this year. So I expect you've had a few of them comments in the last couple of weeks, haven't
Oh,
you?
mate, I've had them all, Jake. I've had them all. The Monopoly bloke. Did you see when I've done that interview with Nikki for West Ham
Yeah,
TV?
yeah.
Did you
I'll
see the
be right back.
comments?
Be right back.
I was
Right.
actually laughing my head off when I read the comments.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah.
Some of them were brilliant. Yeah, but I suppose if you carry one of these around, you got to take the flak for it, haven't you?
Right. A couple more talking points before we start wrapping things up. Um, let's go here. I mean, I know the midfield is polished at the moment. It's probably the best position out of all of them. But what will we do, especially earlier on in the season, for an asset like Alvarez? And it comes back to the recruitment of a bit of a leader, a bit of a somebody that's not going to take any crap, right? As a player, he's out on loan somewhere, and there's no option to bring him back in January. The midfield looks pretty settled at the moment, but just as a player and as a leader, earlier on in the season, we were crying out for somebody like Alvarez. Creswell, Alvarez, Soufal, Antonio. I would have kept them all with the benefit of hindsight now, because what we've replaced them with is either nothing or worse alternatives, Nige.
I love Alvarez. If it weren't for his yellow cards, he'd be a starter every
Yeah,
week for me because he just
yeah,
boots people up in the air. He's a proper old school midfielder who just gets stuck right in, and he's got good skill as well. Not so sure about Cornet. he's
yeah.
he's probably one of the. Do you know what? I was really excited when we got him, and then when I start after he played for us and he was really crap, I started reliving his highlights, and I looked and there was like four of them. And
Four
I
of
thought,
them.
yeah, he actually wasn't that good. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, and
Yeah,
he never done anything when he played for us. So, but Alvarez, all day long, I'd have him in the team. He's a
yeah.
commanding physical presence, and he's a good footballer as well.
Yeah, for sure. We'll end on this. We saw before the game, we saw Jimmy Quinn and Stuart Slater came over. We saw those two lovely former West Ham players this afternoon, and we were talking to them pre-match about sort of the intensity and about players caring above all else. And you know, in generations gone past, there was a lot. There seemed like players cared a lot more. And I look at that pitch this afternoon, and I look around those players, and I think a lot of these don't really care. They're picking up their 200 grand a week, 100 grand a week. They don't really give two hoots, Larry, to be honest. And that's sad because we are on a decline, and a disastrous decline at that. And I look at the pitch and there's no fight there. There's, you know, we we don't press. It just doesn't seem like it cares. It's like, oh well, off the pitch, back home is what it is. You know, 9 to 5, job done. Oh well. This matters, right? And we are in a relegation dogfight, and it doesn't look like it. It looks like I said in my reaction after the game, it looks like we are Fulham. You know, it looks like we're what Fulham normally are, mid-table, not really doing too much, sort of okay, clear of relegation, but not going to get Europe. No, we are in a relegation battle. We need to switch on, and we're not fighting, and we need to fight, Larry.
Yeah, and I slightly disagree a little bit just because I thought I saw fighting them today. I know in the Man City game they kind of gave up. They're probably intimidated. I think you're looking at players out there that are nervous and they just lost confidence. Because I can tell you something right now. I really, like I said, I'll go back to the midfield. I saw hustle in Fernandez. I saw hustle in Potts and Magassa and stuff like that. Now there's some players in there, and a lot of times if you have a cancer in the club, and people can hate me all they want, I don't care. Is that if you got guys like a Paqueta who's a prima donna in there and he's not producing stuff, who knows what he's saying? We don't know what's going in the back of the locker room. Is Bowen? We love him. He plays for the badge. Is he the leader that we need? we saw before the season, Fulker would step up, and you saw, at least media wise, he was trying to bring the team together, right, and do all that. Who knows the answer to that? I'm hoping they're not giving up. We got a lot of youngsters out there that are probably trying to play for their position in the Prem. So I just think right now it's a lack of confidence. And I love them to turn around. Today I did see some fight in them though, but it's just materializing the careless mistakes, and then not finishing. It just, I wish I had the answer, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, there's green shoots of hope. It's not widespread. It's not, we're not ripping up any trees, but it's green shoots of hope, and we need to try and take those on. But it's just the intensity. I mean, even at the end, I don't know whether you stayed right to the end, Nigel, but there just didn't seem to be any urgency towards the end. I'm
No,
like, well,
that's a good point,
there's
Jake.
2 minutes to go, and we were just dilly dallying around Todibo, pass it to Kilman, and then we'll go back. Right,
That's what I'm saying about they're not going
Jake,
forward. Though.
Jake, that's spot on. I'm sorry, Nigel. After that is 100%. After they scored that goal at the 85th minute, there was no sense of urgency whatsoever from that ball club. They were a defeated team, and they already were packing it up. The passing backwards and all this, no sense of urgency, no passion, and stuff like that. So that's spot on, and that was disappointing. After they scored that goal, it was like deflation and no trying to come back. They gave
Yeah,
up.
we looked defeated, Nigel.
Well, that's what I'm saying about Walker Peters in that last 5 minutes. He had a couple of chances there to hit the line and
Yeah.
get the ball across, but he didn't. He turned inside and come backwards, and that's what we was doing. There was
Yeah.
no urgency. Do you know what though? What I will say is that there's times there when the crowd get behind the team and the team lift, but the stadium is so poisonous and
Yeah.
toxic that do you know what I mean? The players, it's got to all come together. When the stadium rocks, there was a time there when we attacked them a few times and we nearly scored, and the whole of the stadium got behind them, and we think it spurs the players on. But the stadium is such a crap stadium. You've been to the away. Look, I'm an hardcore away fan. You've been with me a few times, Jake, and you've been to the away. You're an away supporter, and the difference them supporters are when we're at away games. It's like a travelling army when we go away, and the team, they need that. They need the support of the fans, and unfortunately, what that stadium has done has brought in. You've got 40,000 West Ham supporters, and you've got 20,000 people that don't even care. So
Yeah.
there's no atmosphere at the place, and that's a
Mm.
big. This would have, back at Upton Park, people didn't want to come. We wouldn't have lost that game. Do you know what I mean? We was a stronger team. The whole club was more united. I don't want to be one of them people to go, oh, women's back there and go heart one about the past, but it ain't the same. The crowd doesn't resonate with what goes on there. It's just so different.
Mm.
For sure. Right, to wrap things up, Larry, what sort of percentage chance do you currently give us for staying up? How confident are you?
That's a tough question, Jake. I'm I don't know the answer. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to say 50% chance, and that's the
That's
best you can
positive.
really think of. It's positive you can. I'm never going to give up on team to the last opportunity. I think these couple games, and I said it for the full match, we needed this, but these couple we're leaving too many points that we should have had on the board in the last month. So, but I'll cheer to the end with them.
Absolutely. Nigel, I said to somebody earlier on, I said 60-40 we go down at the moment. What about you?
Well, I actually looked through the fixtures a week or so ago, and I sort of in my head looked at the winnable games or where I thought we'd pick up points. And after today, I thought this was one of the games where we'd pick up 3 points. So I'm actually resigning myself to the fact that probably 60-40, maybe a bit too much. I'm saying 70-30. I think we're really, really going to have to either sign some fantastic players, or we're just going to have to really, 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 really improve and start
Yeah.
winning some games, or we're down. Rightly so as well, because
Yeah.
I'll keep saying it every week. I'll try and be positive, and I'll say, Cole, you know what? We was unlucky today. You can't just keep being unlucky every week. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? There's a reason you're unlucky. It's because you ain't scoring the goals. And that's where it lies with me. We ain't finishing our chances because we're getting the chances.
Yep.
I think we're done.
For sure. And at the end of the day, we can't keep sitting here saying we're unlucky, because there's got to become a point where we draw a line and go, actually, no, we can't. No, we're not, and we're just simply not good enough. Okay, we've looked all right in games, but not getting over the line. And getting over the line in games is a skill. It's a skill you need to survive in the Premier League, and we're currently not enforcing it anywhere near the requirement. And we are struggling, and I'm really, I stood there when that goal went in, and I said we're going, and yeah, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to form an argument against that. At the moment, I'm struggling to find any evidence to suggest that we're going to stay up. And listen. Today was crap. A crap result, but we've still got 3 massive games to come up now. Tuesday night, I don't hold much hope, but then it's all about Saturday for me. If we lose to Wolves, then we just will pack it in. Like that'll be curtains, complete curtains. I've got a really bad, same as you, Nigel. I'm sure you're going on Saturday, so are we. I've got a really bad feeling about it.
I just know they're going to do us. It's just West Ham all over. Do you know what?
Yeah,
I look through rose-coloured spectacles, mate, and I keep, because I love the team so much. I'm always like, yeah, we'll get out of this. We'll do this. And my mates at work, mate, every week at work, my mate's saying, "You lot are crap," and I'm like, "Well, I go to the games. You don't go to the games. You don't know. You don't see us when we're." And I'm beginning to think to myself, I'm the one that's sitting there at the tea break talking crap. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's me, isn't it? Obviously, because we're crap. It's true. And they keep on telling me, and I won't believe it because I'm so, I try to be so positive.
Indeed. Well, the good thing is Craig Dawson is a free agent at the moment. What we do for a bit of his prime days, a bit of his, enforcing at the back.
Well, corners, mate. How many corners did that bloke get on the end of it? Our corners are dreadful. They either don't make the front post, right?
So there's no one in
go
there.
deep straight in and just get
There's
straight
nobody
out.
there.
We never have anyone attacking the corner and looking. I don't even think now. Back in the day when we had Dawson and that and Zuma and all, I was thinking, we get a corner, there's a good chance, 1 out of 2 of these goals goes in. Now I'm like,
we turned corners into penalties. Corners were turned into penalties. So when we got a corner, it was like, oh, brilliant, we're going to score it. Now, we got a corner, brilliant. Is it good? Literally, is it going to hit the first man, or is it going to go out for a goal kick because he overhit it? That's the 2 outcomes.
Even with free kicks, we end up with the best free kick, one of the best free kick takers in the world, and he can't even score 1 free kick in the season. Do you know what I mean?
It's crap, but hey ho. The games are coming thick and fast over this festive period, so we will rejoin you right here on West Ham Official tomorrow evening for our Brighton preview. We are not hanging about, and we will build up to that game from tomorrow evening. So join us for preview 7:30 here for the Brighton game, where we've got to pick ourselves up and well and truly go again. But thank you everybody for getting involved in the chat. Very good show, very good interaction, and good chat all round. So thank you very much indeed for everybody getting involved. Thanks to my guests, Larry and Nigel. Greatly appreciate. Good to see you both, and hopefully next time we speak, well, that might be tomorrow night, but next time we speak after a game, it is a little bit more positive. Thanks, gents.
You're welcome.
I'm going to go and watch us get beat again now on Match of the Day.
On Match of the Day. Brilliant. Isn't it brilliant? Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Official if you're new. For us, come on your irons.
Come on your irons.
And we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Cheers, gents. Thank you.